Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have another review for a Fear Footage movie. This is the Fear Footage 2, The Curse of the Tape, or just Curse of the Tape, something like that. Anyway, here's the Blu-ray here that I bought a couple of years back. Again, I watched this and the first one right before I got married, like within the first 2 weeks before I got married. And I remember it being amazing, and I still think Fear Footage 2 is really great. It's not perfect, neither was the first one, as I said, but to me this is the best of the franchise, at least from what I remember. And it kind of danced away from being an anthology movie, the way the first one was. The first film had a wraparound, it had 3 short stories, very much like the VHS movies. This one's very different from that. By the way, as a physical media collector, I really love how the first film, which this is it right here, comes in an evidence bag. Really cool. The inside has like a poster type of thing inside of it that's a little bit different, or a map or something. It also has the disc with blood-stained fingertips on it, which is really cool. And then this one comes in kind of another evidence bag thing right here. It has the sealable thing up here. It says, "Warning, if you receive this package, return it immediately. Do not open, do not watch. There is evidence that this footage is cursed. Viewing will result in feeling ill, hearing voices, and becoming cursed." I remember when I opened up this thing after I'd already rented and seen the movie. I got a little nervous when I saw this in the mail. I got a sleeve, I opened it up, this is the first thing I see, and I was like, what the hell is that? Really cool packaging from Mr. Ricky Umberger, who directed and wrote this series, all 3 movies. This is his baby, you can tell it. There's a lot of love and passion put into Fear Footage 2, I almost dropped it. I really love this in a lot of ways. I love it a lot more than I think a lot of other people do, but to me, the people who I've seen talk about this, like Sinister Cinema Reviews, or some of the other channels on YouTube who know about the Fear Footage, who even recommended this series to me, a lot of folks out there seem to like this the best of the franchise, and I stand by that too. I think it's a great, great flick, and a big, massive improvement over the previous movie because of how different it is. Now, why is it not an anthology movie? Well, I think the excuse is a very genius one. It worked out so well, in my opinion. Basically, essentially, there's a 3rd short in the original movie about a fellow who loses his daughter. His wife or girlfriend or whatever is accusing him of being on drugs. He lives in an apartment. This movie is about him, but this is the thing. It's a little bit of a twist. It's kind of like how The Human Centipede is a movie within the universe of Human Centipede 2, if you've seen that. The guy in that movie that does the Human Centipede in that movie is obsessed with the movie of the Human Centipede that we watched, which is bizarre. It's a weird breaking the 4th wall type of thing. This movie kind of does the same thing. This guy here from that 3rd short, it's the same actor. He basically is filming a documentary, and he teams up with another guy too that was also in one of the other shorts from the original movie of Fear Footage, and they're trying to figure out why they, even their apartment and everything, are in that original Fear Footage movie, that 3rd short from that movie. They never starred in it, they never knew anybody, they never knew each other, they didn't know anything about it, and they're trying to figure out how they were involved in that. Again, it's not just like I have a doppelganger or ganger or whatever out there. It's me. Like, the guy has a daughter in the original Fear Footage, that this guy has a daughter too. Anyway, he starts to go on a big investigation. He is scared to death by this. He starts trying to contact Leo Cole, who was the police officer in the original movie's wraparound story about the cop going into the house that had vanished and come back somehow. He contacts his wife to try to find her and talk to her and find out what happened with Leo Cole, the police officer. This whole mystery about how this other guy too that comes along with him on this trip to a cabin to go be nearby where Leo Cole's wife lives, and this whole situation happened in the first movie with the wraparound story, and the house appearing after it burnt down or whatever and come back somehow in the middle of the night. All of this mystery around this situation is fascinating to watch. And you could skip Fear Footage 1 and come directly to this. I don't really recommend that because the wraparound story about Leo Cole, the police officer, is fantastic. I really like it. I think it's the best highlight of that movie. The finale is really scary. It's a really tense build-up, has some great stuff in there, and even the shorts in that movie, as weak as they can possibly be sometimes, have some really good highlights in there. It's a very impressive first ever movie. At least I assume it's Ricky Umberger's first movie. It says that on IMDb, but still, going from that to this is genius. He did a great job with this. The directing, the writing, everything about it is so good. The humor that's in here, the paranoia, the tension building with the actual direction is so scary. You could have put this out in theaters and skipped the first movie and just called this something else, and I think it would have frightened people a lot. I really do think that. I think the Fear Footage 2, to be a direct-to-DVD or direct-to-streaming or whatever type of thing you want to call this, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic movie. It's very well made, very well acted because of the two main actor guys in here. I think everybody involved does a really solid performance, and that wasn't always the case in the original movie. The writing is fine. I love the cabin they stay in. That's beautiful out in the middle of the woods. Again, I love Tennessee. I stay in cabins in Tennessee pretty much at least once a year with my wife. And that seclusion is wonderful. It's very peaceful. It does some melody for the heart, you know, a little bit. But it's something scary about it at nighttime. Something really frightening. It's not the fear of bears for me. It's not the fear of anything but some kind of ghostly, ghastly thing out there that I don't want to encounter. It's fun. It's really fun. The movie doesn't really have any CGI or anything like that. It's mostly just, when I say practical effects, I mean like you might have something moving on the screen that's a person in a costume or a person doing this or a directing cut to type of thing, a very directed classic skill, you know, that a lot of people don't really know how to master the way Ricky Umberger did in this movie. You know, you might have something happening over here and have like a lamp right here and the camera will move back and forth. Mind you, this is still a found footage movie. I don't think I mentioned that. The camera will move back and forth, and while it passes that light, they'll cut to the next shot to have something happen over here, maybe with the same actor that's happening with something over here. It's very interesting. I think it's a fantastic movie. It's just so surprisingly well made. It kind of shocks me a little bit. And that practical effect use and that skill as a director is just shocking. It's great. It's genuinely so much fun to watch. I love everything about the movie pretty much. Again, it's not like a perfect movie. It has its low budget issues. It is a low budget feature. But for an hour and like 15 minutes, this one will linger with you. I really think it'll linger with you, and a lot of people I've shown this movie to after they've seen the first one have loved it. And to me, this makes part one even better, because I know what I'm going to get, you know, when I come to this movie, and I know how this ties up a lot of cool things from that movie. It really is a great example of a sequel stepping up upon the first film and making that film a lesser movie in a lot of ways. Very much like The Dark Knight did to Batman Begins, as much as I like both. There's not really much to say about anything. There's no music in this, by the way, just because it is a found footage movie. And it just, all of it works together. It's just such a great movie. If you've never seen the Fear Footage movies, I highly recommend them to you, especially if you're a big found footage fan. In my personal opinion, this movie, if it had not been a sequel, if this had been the first Fear Footage movie, I would say that this would be one of those movies that could convert somebody to being a found footage fan like myself. The first one creeps me out. It's a little bit too much of a jump scare movie, though. This one has like no jump scares in it. There might be like one in the entire film. The rest of it is tension, it's atmosphere, it's eeriness. All of that comes alive. The performances are strong. It's just really solid. I really, really like it, and I think it's a really amazingly made movie for how small the budget was. Ricky Umberger, once again, you outdid yourself. I cannot wait to rewatch Part 3, even though I wasn't a big fan of that one back in the day. I remember it being kind of disappointing, kind of weak. But I'm hoping it's better this time when I watch it here soon. Maybe this weekend. I'm trying to burn through some Hellraiser movies the next couple of days to get that out of the way. But I might take a break and watch Fear Footage 3 AM and do the review for that before I jump into uploading the Hellraiser reviews. Anyway, the Fear Footage 2, The Curse of the Tape. What do you guys think about it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Put all your thoughts and comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this flick. I'm going to tell you too, by the way, the finale of this movie is some scary stuff, dude. Some really, really scary stuff that makes the first film's finale that's already scary, even probably a lesser movie already. If I had to rate Fear Footage 2, Curse of the Tape on a 5-star basis, I would probably rate it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's so good. To be what it is, it kind of shocks me. It's such a massive improvement. It's so much fun. It's scary. It's creepy. It gets under my skin tremendously. And I think it just outdoes itself. Ricky Umberger, once again, fantastic job with this movie, dude. You should be so proud of yourself. Excuse me. I've talked so much today and done so many reviews, my voice is going. You should be proud of how many people love this movie and love this franchise. To be as non-marketed as they are. The horror community loves this stuff, and I don't blame them. This is a great flick. Anyway, 4 out of 5 stars for me. I don't think it quite deserves a 5, but it's so close to getting a 5 out of 5 for me. Maybe if it had a couple more things that I would want to see in this, maybe it would have been a 5 out of 5. But for me, it's so close, it's just a 4 for right now. Anyway, have you seen Fear Footage 2? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Put all your thoughts and comments down below, folks. I would love to hear what you have to say about this movie. Is it your favorite of the franchise? It's probably easily my favorite. I guess I'll find out for sure when I watch part 3 again. And then again, I am going to do a ranking video for these 3 movies, this trilogy, before I go on to doing the Hellraiser movies. So I hope you'll tune in for that as well. And please check this out. Again, you can skip Fear Footage 1 if you want to go watch this. I don't think you should. You'll miss out on some cool stuff. But still. And there's also a thing in here, too, involving the first short of that first movie that you have to see to understand what happened here at that point. Anyway, really solid flick, and I really recommend the series, especially this movie. Great flick. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put them down below again. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you all, and goodbye.